This is entry 42 of Bill Adkin's life. And today, because it's January 1st, Bill's going to give us joy to the world because we have joy for the world, and then tell us circus stories. Okay, joy to the world first.
Okay. Joy to the world. Oh, I better, sorry. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive its King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
That was really fun, Bill. I can't wait now to hear about the circus.
Uh-oh. Well, many of these stories that I tell, David and Nancy have never heard because it just didn't occur to me, or people asking me questions, they never asked those kinds of questions. So they never heard some of the history of my life. But I don't know. I trying to remember. It was in the summertime, and it was not Ringling Brothers Circus. It was another name, and it just doesn't come to me.
Was Barnum and Bailey?
Well, that's the other part of Ringling Brothers.
Oh.
Anyway, it was on a Saturday, and I thought, oh boy, that would sure be fun to.
Wait a minute, how old were you?
I was about 12 or 13.
Okay.
But I was a tall kid, see, so I looked bigger. And it was on a Saturday and afternoon, nice weather. And I thought, the circus is in town. I think I'll go there. My mom and dad trusted me very much. They knew that I wouldn't do things to get in trouble or anything like that. And I would try to do everything responsibly. So I went to the circus and I asked them, well, what does it cost? And they told me, and I thought, oh boy. This is tough. I don't know if I have that kind of money or not. And I asked this man that was standing there in an outfit, I said, excuse me, is there some way I could work for the circus and earn the money for the ticket? He says, well, yeah. He says, follow me. And we went back and we saw the boss. And the boss said, well, what can you do, honey? And I said, I'll do anything. And he said, okay. How about, can you take care of horses? I said, well, of course. I ride horses. Okay. Well, it's not exactly the thing that you want to do because you're going to have to clean up after the horses and brush them down. And I said, no problem. And he said something else that I had to do besides the horses. Now I can't remember what it was.
We're just mucking up all the stalls from the animals?
Oh yeah, I had to clean up all the stalls for the animals that were in stalls, give them fresh hay, things like that. So I thought, boy, this is going to be fun. So I started, and I cleaned up after the horses. Of course, I cleaned the stall of that the horses were in completely. I had to put it in the wheelbarrows and then dump it in the pile. And then I would come back with a curry comb and brush those horses down. And brush them down, because girls or young women rode the horses. So you had to have that really done properly, so they had special shoes on and they wouldn't slip. And I said, I really worked a sweat up. But I didn't mind, because I said, I'm going to get in free. And so got all that done and got all the stalls taken care of. And I went to this man that I met first, and he said, you're all done. I said, yes, sir. You'll go ahead and inspect it and make sure that I've done it right. And he looked and he says, perfect. He says, you can enter, so follow me. And he told the person taking tickets, he goes in free. Okay, so I went in free, and I sat right where I wanted to sit, about 5 rows up, right in the center, so I could see the big ring. And I watched the circus performers, and the one thing that really, really, really attracted me was the trapeze artist. And he flies through the air with the greatest of ease, the daring young man on the flying trapeze. And it really appealed to me. And I said, I know one thing I'm going to do in life. I'm not going to do that. But I was really fascinated. And in those days, they never wore nets. They never had nets. They had to really do the job. And they did. So when I was all done, I filled out most of the day. And I came home and I told my mother and dad about my day at the circus. And they thought that was really cool.
Did you also see clowns?
Oh, well, yeah. While I was waiting for something, I walked by this tent, and in there were all these people, men and women, making up their faces with the fancy-looking clothes to make them look like clowns. So I went in there. No one said, don't go in. So I went in there and I said, hi, do you do this all the time? Yep, every day. Well, when we're performing. And I said, boy, that's really neat. And I said, you have a happy face on you. And he said, yeah, sometimes I don't have a happy face, but because of the makeup, I always look like I have a happy face. And I said, well, that's good. And I really enjoyed those people because they were artists. They put their makeup on exacting. It wasn't just splattered on their faces. They really did a beautiful job. And so I was impressed. So that was my day at the circus.
Well, thanks so much for sharing, Bill. We'll be back.